if you thought before that the Too Good for Radio podcast was also known as a Sex and Poo podcast, you ain't heard nothing yet.
Boy, do we have some poo and do we have some sex for you.
Yes, we do.
Strap in.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gross.
Yeah, gross. It is the Michael Molson Too Good for Radio podcast, a.k.a. Sex and Poo. Let's start with the poo. We got some poo on Everest, huh?
We're coming up to the time of the year when people climb Mount Everest. It's that little window. Yeah, I know. It's that little window of time when people can go up. And there are any number of issues. Climbers leave behind their oxygen tanks and tents.
Yeah, it just ends up being a bunch of dead bodies.
And there's dead bodies. Yeah. If somebody dies on Everest, you can't go get them.
No, you just leave them there. And then they end up, when the melting season comes, you find the dead bodies.
You do, and there are some people who use the bodies as a marker, saying,
What?
"Okay, when you get to the dead body with the green parka, turn left."
Yikes! I can see
So
that. I can see that.
It's used
though.
as a landmark.
Yikes!
A dead landmark. The other thing that gets left up there, this is like a 2-3 week process.
It's not an easy hike
to get up and down the thing, and so naturally, you've got to do natural things.
Yes,
like
you do.
Poo.
I would imagine so. You can't go 2 weeks without pooping.
So in an effort to cut down on pollution, Nepal is now ordering Mount Everest climbers to come back down with their poo.
Oh.
With their poo-sicles.
I understand, right, that you want to keep it clean and you shouldn't just drop a loaf and then use that as a marker. Be like right next to the really giant deuce I took. But at the same token, can you imagine collecting 2 weeks worth of your crap and then having to bring it down in a bag?
But you're asking yourself, Mike, how do you collect your poo in a bag? Well, each climber will be given two poop bags.
Just 2?
Which are used 6 times each.
Yeah. So you're dutying on your duty.
Yeah.
Do you poop straight in the bag or you just drop it wherever and then have to pick it up?
I don't know. I'm assuming you're pooping in the bag, but I don't know. You're right. I don't know.
Okay.
Either way sounds very complicated.
I have so many questions if you actually poop directly into the bag.
The bags contain chemicals to solidify the waste and make it odorless. This season, an estimated 1,200 people will be on the mountain.
That's a lot of poop bags.
Each person spends about 2 weeks at the higher camps to get to the 29,000-foot peak.
There's no porta-johns up there?
And so I guess in the past they've been, if they would probably poop in a bag or whatever you do, like when you're camping. And then,
I don't know what you do when you're camping because I like indoor plumbing and I don't like to camp.
And then they would just leave it there. And so it's starting to, 1,200 people a year.
You're taking dumps up there. That'd be kind of ripe.
Yeah, each getting 6 poops. No, 12 poops. You get 12 poops in 2 weeks.
I've never been to that altitude. Does that mess with your constitution? Do you poop more at that altitude?
It's more airy. It's lighter.
Okay, it's lighter poop at that point?
Yeah, it floats.
Right. I imagine with all the trail mix and stuff you're eating, though, on the hike, that would make you be more regular.
Yeah, you would think so. So if you're planning an Everest trip, you're going to get 2 poop bags. And
that's
2 poop bags only.
Use it, and maximum 12 poops.
You can have 12 poops, and do not leave them behind.
If you are a once-a-day pooper and you have a 14-day excursion, you're going to have 2 extra poops that are not going to go accounted for with the poop bags. Moving on to the Sex and Poo podcast, here is, honest to God, I found this list because this is what the internet is made for. 7 full-on insects found during colonoscopies.
Insects found in colonoscopies.
Yes. So we will go through this list of 7, and these are actual events. This isn't things that people made up, like worst case scenarios.
Okay.
Someone did the research.
I've got questions,
and found
because you and I are both at the age where we've done
I've done mine.
our colonoscopies. But go ahead.
And the worst part about it is the prep work. That's the worst part. But we begin with number 7, a fly.
A fly.
Dismaying, yes, but maybe not especially surprising. Flies seem to have a...
What do you mean not surprising?
That's what the person is saying. Flies seem to have a supernatural ability to come out of absolutely nowhere, like in the lens of a colonoscopy camera. They're remarkably good at evading attempts to capture or kill them. Arguably, to go inside the creature trying to end you is a stroke of genius. Genius that probably ends as soon as you meet stomach acid, but some fly had to try it. Plus, flies famously love poop, so why not cut straight to the source? It's practically a bank heist for them. So... it was at the end of the camera lens where they started going in there.
I see.
The fly was already on the lens, and they stuck it in there like, oh,
Good
no.
grief.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 6 is an ant was up there. There might be an ethical argument that certain stories can be left to the surface level. For example, when a guy has an ant found in his colon, you can just relay information and add a gross and just file it away.
Does the doctor tell you when you wake up, Mr. Windmacher, we removed 2 polyps, they were benign, and an ant?
Yes. They say, basically, they figured this one came from a picnic a couple of days earlier, meaning the ant may have ridden a piece of chopped celery like the grossest version of Fievel from An American Tail ever. Number 5 on the list, and these are actual full-on insects found during colonoscopies. Number 5 is a cockroach. They say, look, this is a gross article altogether, but I'll admit that this one that pushed my lunch break back by an hour. Also, one which that I will cut appreciably short, given that they can sweat out a nuclear winter. I guess it's not too shocking that a cockroach can tank a bit of a stomach acid, but it's still probably not the scientific discovery any doctor was hoping for, to find a cockroach inside someone's colon.
Yeah, I was worried that'd be one of them.
Yep. Number 4, a ladybug. Somehow ended in there. Sure, the best answer from the doctor or their findings is still nothing, but this one, they might have to ask your children to leave the room, something you'd share as a funny fact with your best friend instead of a secret you bring to the grave.
Wow.
As a fact, there's a ladybug in there. Number 3.
Does it say how often this happens?
It's very rare.
I hope so.
Yes, very rare. Number 3 was a moth.
Was it flying around?
Yeah, they say basically they live in a damp conditions usually or whatever, so that's why an expired moth lodged in your nether regions is enough to never wear wool again. So someone found a moth in the colon.
Damp butt.
Yes.
Butt canal.
Number 2 of the full-on insects found during colonoscopies, a bee.
Really?
They said if there is some sort of horrific curse, must be a creature in your butt, I would prefer it be unarmed. I'd also like to think that in the nightmare scenario where I swallow a bee, it would be sufficiently handled by my stomach, and I would like to not have to worry about any specific way it tumbled through my intestines. Unfortunately, one cyclist bore out a series of nightmares for all of us that when a bee he thinks he swallowed while biking showed up in the other coast.
I guess I'm relieved in some way to know. I don't know that I'm relieved, but that they're coming in via the mouth and not climbing up.
Correct.
The back door.
Right. Majority of these have come in via the expressway to get to the waste on the way out.
But there's a lot of obstacles.
Yes.
Before they get there.
But they're not saying that they found them all alive in these instances.
Right.
These were just found in your colon.
Oh,
and to your point, I feel like they would have to kind of divulge that information afterwards.
So. Does it tickle if they're walking around in there?
I don't know.
I think you would know.
Tiptoe through the tulips gone there, I
think you
guess?
would know.
I think you would. And finally, of the full-on insects found during colonoscopies, if you thought a bee was bad, ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce you to a yellow jacket wasp found during the colonoscopies.
And a blue jay.
They say, okay, bee guy is off the hook. The crown now goes to the unfortunate soul who had a yellow jacket wasp, basically a bee built for war, discovered in his colon. If finding a bee in there is like losing a thumbtack in a car seat, a yellow jacket is like misplacing a switchblade in the couch. No, thank you. So those are the 7 full-on insects found during a colonoscopy.
So we mentioned, the big issue with the colonoscopy is you got to do the prep. You got to clear the chamber.
That's the worst.
And
it's the worst part.
And so I'm surprised that anything is left because
true. Everything usually should be.
You are clean as the day you were born.
You should be.
I mean, it is efficient.
Unless you're a person that doesn't do all the prep work and lies about it and shows up.
Maybe.
Or maybe the insect is still clinging for life on the side of the colon, and that's what happens upon it.
I got congratulated.
What?
It's like, wow, you really did a good job of clearing the pipes there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were complimenting me on my ability to just.
Very nice.
Let's
good
just
on you.
I had to do some spring cleaning here and get everything out.
I had to run the risk as I got in, and then I think I've shared this story before. I got in, got on the gown or whatever, and it's my father-in-law taking me because my wife had to work that day. And so I was sitting there waiting, and I'm like, do I evacuate one more time?
You don't know when you're done.
Or do I just say, hey, this was on you for not getting me in fast enough? And if it happens while the thing's going on there, but then what I had transpire was the people come in and go, okay, Reggie, time to take you back. And I was like, I'm not Reggie. What? No, my name is Mike. Oh, we're sorry. That's our bad. They had to go next door.
Man.
Because then they were just like, so where's your wife, Reggie? Well, my wife's at work. Oh, is she picking you up? Well, no.
I'm not Reggie.
I'm not Reggie. Oh. And then they had to check the wristband and they scanned it. You're like, yeah, no, you're right. You're not Reggie.
You're right.
I know who I am and I'm not Reggie. This is my
and whatever procedure Reggie was getting, I don't
want any of that. Reggie's going to get more than just all that. And I don't want all that. So that would make me a little unnerving. And at that point, I was like, you know what? They deserve it if something comes out on the actual operating table.
Did you weigh yourself before and after? Because I did.
I wish I would have. Yeah. We didn't have a functioning scale at home at the time, but I would have.
It's impressive. It's impressive.
There's a lot that goes out.
What's in you?
Yes, there's a lot that goes out. I made the mistake of trying to watch Jurassic World Dominion. I thought maybe 6 minutes of that movie total.
Well, it's remarkable.
And and the prep work just keeps coming. Just when you think you've put a dent in the prep work that tastes awful, you look and you're like, how the hell am I supposed to drink all of this? But I did nonetheless. And I did the chaser but at some point you have to just go water and prep.
Yeah.
And it's just, I had the chaser for a little bit, but it's awful. It's awful. You have to do it.
We could talk colonoscopies for an entire half hour.
In fact, make sure you get and subscribe to our Patreon. Yeah. You'll get this specific exclusive Patreon colonoscopy podcast just for you.
You can listen to it.
Listen to every polyp poll on the Patreon podcast.
Well, speaking of butts.
Yes. Would you like to see more?
There was a big gorilla statue. Greg.
They have badonks.
Sorry, Gary. Gary the gorilla.
Gary the gorilla got a badonk.
Was a big gorilla statue that was in the Reynard Garden Centre in Scotland.
Okay.
And last year, somebody stole it.
No.
Big 8-foot-tall gorilla.
Why would you be stealing Gary the gorilla, you jerks?
This year, inexplicably.
How long ago was it taken? Like last
year? A year ago.
Okay, gotcha.
This year, inexplicably, Gary is returned to the garden center.
Well, yay.
But only half of Gary is there.
What?
And not half up and down, but half long ways. So all they gave back was Gary's butt.
Oh, just the Gary butt?
The discovery was made by the team from the road maintenance firm, Bear Scotland, who said they were shocked to see the gorilla's bum staring them in the face.
By the way, when I said Gary butt, that sounds like a town in Scotland.
Gary butt.
Gary butt.
I'm here from Gary butt.
I'm here from Gary butt, Scotland.
Gary's missing his front half. The statue appears to have been sawed in two.
Why steal it and then saw it in two?
Owner Andrew Scott from the garden center said he was really disappointed. Only half of the ornament has been recovered.
It's just the boat, just the back end. What the fool?
He hopes the rest of Gary can be found. He says, I just went to the Tesco to buy some Gorilla glue. Of course you do.
Hey-o.
In hope that we get the other half back and we can stick him back together.
Yeah, Gary needs to be reunited, his butt and his front end.
They're hoping that this discovery will spark something.
Somebody has the other half.
Somebody knows something. Where is he? How long was he hidden? He can fit through a door now. It would have been too fat before. I reckon he'll be some little garden room or somewhere a few select people know. Somebody will know something, but obviously they've kept it quiet for a year, and there must be more than one person involved because when they've cut him in such a tidy manner.
That you could, and not one person could do it. Someone have to hold the button in place.
So I like the idea that somebody said, I want this so much I'm going to steal it, and then realize, I don't want the butt. I want Gary's face.
I just want Gary's face. You can have Gary's butt back.
Yeah, have Gary's butt, do a colonoscopy, see if you can find a wasp.
I want to look up now to see if there's a Gary's butt Scotland. From Gary Butt. Yeah. On the topic of monkeys, not only do we have the Gary the gorilla, but you have a story involving bananas now. Things have gone bananas, and it ends terribly.
We take you to a gas station in the Pittsburgh area where an employee is in jail after beating a man who was throwing bananas at employees.
Wait a second. Throwing just bananas at employees?
So I was working, working late at the gas station.
Right.
Customer comes in and starts chucking bananas at the employees.
No.
According to the cops, he's facing charges of aggravated assault and reckless endangerment. It began when the male customer went into the Sunoco gas station and began throwing a banana at an employee.
What a weapon choice.
The employee then picked up the banana and threw it back.
Good.
More bananas were lobbied back and forth between the customer and the employee before the customer just went and punched the guy in the face.
Oh.
During the fight...
By the way, let me just say, you walk into a late-night stop at a convenience store and a banana fight is breaking out.
There's a volley of bananas going
You
left
join
and right.
in, right? You
I
start
think so.
chucking the bananas
Oh,
as
this
well.
is awesome.
This is awesome. It's like an episode of Lancelot Link.
During the fight, another one of the employees said, I'm going to solve this thing, picks up a PVC pipe from behind the counter and chased the man out of the store into the parking lot and then hit him multiple times. Just started wailing on this dude. You will not bring bananas into my gas station.
Never again.
It does not happen here. This is my house.
By the way, the markup on bananas, gas station bananas is bananas.
It really is.
You go to a grocery store.
They shouldn't be $1.50.
No, a banana, $1.50 a banana.
The banana assailant was.
How dare you? That's $8 for the bananas. God.
It doesn't say if it was the gas station bananas or if the guy brought his own bananas in.
Why would
I
you
don't know. I don't know why bananas are being thrown.
Dude. I'm assuming it's gas station bananas.
The victim was able to run away, suffering serious swelling. Police eventually found the assaulted customer, took him to the hospital, where he was listed in critical condition.
Jesus! All over a banana throwing?
Because the
PVC pipe was just... God.
Because the gas station employee had had enough bananas being thrown at him.
I have a feeling there was more to that guy's day than just the banana. I have a feeling like that guy's wife left him earlier in the day, or something else happened to just go that crazy on a guy for banana throwing.
You're saying though that's not self-defense? I mean, you're
punched.
You're minding yourself. You're minding your business, and some customer comes in and starts heaving bananas at you, and you decide I've had enough of this. I'm taking this PVC pipe and slugging this guy so he knocks it off. Isn't that self-defense?
I think so, because at some point, didn't you say that the customer then punched one of the employees?
Yeah.
So he originally, there's a banana exchange, which I don't think I could say. Thank God we're not on the radio for that. Mm-hmm. There's a banana exchange being thrown. Yeah, .com, bananaexchange.com. New, she'll like it too. And she'll love the next story.
Yeah.
And then it gets to once a punch is thrown, I think then it's self-defense.
Yeah. I'm picturing it like a Three Stooges pie fight. That there are just bananas
everywhere,
arcing over everybody. Boom, boom, bam, and
yeah.
just getting pelted. And in the middle of this, yes, the original assailant slugs one of the employees. Another employee picks up a PVC pipe and starts beating the guy. Chases him out of the store and just beats him, obviously into critical condition.
That's where I think it may be a slight bit overboard. Is the critical condition.
When do you stop though? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know you're safe, Mike?
I think you know when his eyes roll back into his head that maybe I shouldn't beat him anymore with the PVC pipe.
Right, when it just it becomes detached from his eye socket and falls out.
Yes, that's not good.
His teeth are bleeding.
Speaking of beaten pipe and banana throwing,
yes.
Here's the next story where this manufacturer of fantasy-themed sex toys has accused an upstart Brooklyn, New York firm of knocking off its distinctive designs. This was a complaint filed in the U.S. District Court in Arizona by Bad Dragon Enterprises that contended that their, quote, sculptural products have been illegally copied by Sin Saint. So Bad Dragon says, hey, Sin Saint is stealing our gig here, all right?
Intellectual property.
Yeah. Bad Dragon, which noted it had significant commercial success in the adult toy field, alleged that Sin Saint has been selling the duplicative dildos through its website and other trade channels, including the recent AVN Adult Entertainment Expo in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Where the new firm's exhibitor booth was next to that of an all-nude Palomino strip club. The lawsuit identifies 13 separate dildos that Bad Dragon claims have, quote, been copied by Sin-Saint.
And that's interesting because I think we're from the era where dildos were just dildo shaped. You know, there was just a shape of them. But it is true. You see some now, you go, that is a complicated piece of machinery. I'm not entirely sure where that goes.
Yeah, the colorful silicone toy features scales, tentacles, suction cups, and other design elements meant to mimic the genitalia of dragons, sea creatures, and other fantastical characters.
Because who hasn't had that fantasy?
I guess so. Now, here are just some of the Bad Dragon products that Sin-Saint is accused of swiping. They include Kelvin the Ice Dragon, Stan the T-Rex, and Virgil the Drippy Dragon.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Sin-Saint has not been accused of pirating other Bad Dragon offerings like Jason the Demogorgon or Cuttlefish the Cthulhu. According to the lawsuit, Sin-Saint's counsel last month said that the company has begun removing some of the allegedly infringing listings for product redesign. This response, Bad Dragon contended, was unacceptable, adding that it continues to be harmed by the defendant's ongoing unlawful conduct. Bad Dragon complaint seeks an order enjoining Sin-Saint from continuing any infringement and seeks disgorgement of all defendants' profits related to the artificial peni. The company may also seek statutory damages of up to $150,000 for each of the dildos in question.
Yeah. I guess I didn't realize that the dildo industry was so cutthroat.
It is.
Or wherever you put it.
They say for more than a decade, Bad Dragon has sought trademark and copyright protection from various product lines.
God.
While often successful, the firm's application to I'm not going to... You know what? I'm going to say it. This is, by the way, you shouldn't be listening to this with your kids. But while often successful, the firm's application to trademark its quote-unquote cum tube was abandoned after a government attorney rejected the ejaculating dildo because the applied for mark consists of or includes immoral or scandalous matter. So that's why they couldn't do it.
Could you imagine working in the United States Trademark Office? You're going through your paperwork.
And that comes up
all
pardon
day.
The pun.
It's like, somebody invented a mousetrap. Oh, it's a toaster. Oh, here's something that's an interesting way to build a spatula. And then, you've got an ejaculating dildo.
It's so ridiculous.
No, we can't do. No.
That is where we draw the line.
All right, now let me see that rifle over there.
Yeah. By the way, according to an August 2023 trademark application, guess what Sin-Saint's owner? That's the one who's being sued. Guess their name.
I can't.
Oleg Semenenko. A 50, a resident of Brooklyn's gated Seagate community. Semenenko lives less than a mile from Sin-Saint's warehouse, which shares an address with Globe Marble, an industrial mold business, for which Semenenko is listed as manager in a separate trademark application filed this month.
And this is one of those businesses that fascinates me because in addition to the product that they're selling, there's a whole back end, if you'll excuse the expression, of people. There are assistants and secretaries.
Yes.
And at some point, there is a cocktail party or something. Hi, how you doing? Hey, what do you do for well, I'm a secretary over at the ejaculating dildo factory. Oh, interesting line of work.
Yeah, exactly. What do you do? Well, I actually pour the rubber foam for Drippy the Dragon dildo.
Because you have to realize there's other
parts.
Yeah, it's not just the thing doesn't get. There's people.
It doesn't just show up out of nowhere.
There's a bookkeeper.
There's some. Oh my God, you'll never believe whose taxes I did today. Oh, Bad Dragon. How'd the business go to? Pretty good. Pretty good. The numbers look pretty good. We're on the rise. We need more Kelvin the Ice Dragon. Please.
Yeah, there are just regular people who do regular jobs just like at any other business involved in that business. And they have to go out into the public and tell people what they do. They've got a resume.
Yes. By the way, they asked the individual who does the plastic molds how the dildo business, the Sin-Saint, who is being sued for taking other intellectual property, in the interview of Semenenko, they asked him how, and he's like, well, we work in rubber. And then he dismissed Bad Dragon's claim that its products were unique and original, saying, how can an octopus hand be your idea?
Is there a big market for that?
I don't know.
There are a lot of women having that fantasy.
I don't know. There's so much weird out there that I just look at it and go, when did it become not enough for people that they need all this other things like Drippy Dragon or Cuddle the Cthulhu?
Yeah.
No one needs all that.
Shouldn't be that complicated.
No, it should not. Which is why I say kudos to the Summer Olympics here as we end the Sex and Poo podcast edition of Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio.
It is an Olympic year, and at the last Olympics, we were still in the middle of a pandemic.
Right. So the Olympic Village was kind of closed off. There wasn't as much international relations, hey-o.
So we're heading to gay and heterosexual Paris, where this year a record 220,000 condoms are being distributed to athletes.
Good for them.
Who might want to have some extracurricular activity.
Why wouldn't you? After your event is done, why not enjoy a little bit of international relations? When's the next time you're going to be able to sleep with someone from Kyrgyzstan?
And from what we've heard from years past, I mean, those are some horny people.
Oh, good Lord, yes.
The Olympic Village is at night when you're not doing anything.
It's
just Caligula.
It's bonking away.
Yeah. And this is the part I find unusual about this. So 220,000 of these are going out. They're going to give 200,000 condoms to the men.
Okay.
And 20,000 to the women.
That doesn't seem proportionally correct.
Which seems upside down.
I mean, yes. I mean, it is.
Because the men are going to go, I forgot to pick one up. Whereas the women are going to say, put this on. We're not doing this.
I don't want a baby from Turkey.
We don't know how many people are likely to use them, and obviously we'll adapt to the requirements if needed. A few thousand condoms were first distributed in Seoul in 1988.
It's a great idea.
It is.
Needs to be.
The number of condoms distributed has increased dramatically over the decades. 50,000 at the 1992 Barcelona Olympics, 100,000 in Beijing, and 150,000 in London in 2012.
Do you think there should be a secondary gold medal for the person who uses the most?
There should be, yeah. The Rio Games, though, hold the record in 2016, where 450,000 condoms were handed out, which equates to 42 condoms per athlete that was there.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Even in I wasn't really good with the ladies, but even in my single days, I think 42 would last me a year.
And, a percentage of those athletes are like 16, right? I mean, so you lop that off.
Yeah.
Where you go, they're probably not. Well, maybe I don't know.
They probably shouldn't be.
And there's a percentage of them who are married or parents or whatever.
Right.
And so you take those things off.
There's a very small percentage using a lot of the condoms.
So it's probably 70 or 80 per athlete.
When you do the actual math for it.
You really got.
Do you bring one of those back though? I mean, are the Olympic rings on them? Are they different? Are they different colored? Like, what do they look like? Yeah. Do you bring one back as like you never guess? This is the official Paris Olympic condom.
There was a troubling surge in sexually transmitted diseases in the EU in 2022. Gonorrhea increased by 48%. Syphilis up 34%. Chlamydia up 16%. And
what country uses the most? Do you think?
By the way, in Paris, the beds might also be a sex deterrent. They are all single beds made of cardboard and usually only two to a room.
Cardboard? Yeah. Then you got to come and there's an athletic sock in the door and you're like, all right, I guess France is stoinking someone again here.
They're making every effort they can to dissuade that, but they know it's going to happen.
By the way, we will revisit this topic when we get to the Summer Olympics, the opening ceremonies, and try to figure out which country is sleeping with which country.
And I heard
as they walk in,
Doug Flutie is going to be lighting the torch this year.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, he's going to throw it from down. He's getting about 100 meters away and just toss it.
2 years ago he wouldn't have been able to do it.
No,
but thanks to his man boosting technology,
he went and boosted his man.
His man. Now he can chuck that fireball wherever it goes, right in your face. It's going to be a 3D opening ceremony.
That'll be pretty awesome.
A little bit of the flute right in your face.
Thank you, Doug Flutie, for your service to
and she'll like it too.